How long has the band been together?
The band has been together nearly 3 years, with the exception of Jerry. We started rehearsing in January of 1975, and we performed in June of 75. And we've played at CBGB's, a famed CBGB's. And then there was the next week there was a big thing in the Village Voice about the new rock and roll, and a lot of bands started playing there, and we were still playing there. And we signed with Scheyer Records. After a lot of looking around, we wanted to wait as long as possible to get a record contract, because we were very new to the business and very naive. We didn't want to do anything that would hurt our career. So we waited a long time until we met the right record company, which was Scheyer. That was last November. And Jerry joined us in February, just in time to start this album and go to Europe. We went to Europe for 6 weeks.
How were you received over there?
Oh, it was great. It was great fun. We went over well enough that all the promoters want us back, and we're headlining a tour this January.
You're being promoted, I guess, by Scheyer as a, quote, new wave band. And over here some of your reviews say you're a punk band, which I guess you don't.
I'd say that our record was released the same time as those other records, and it seemed like a good way to the record companies. They thought it was a good idea to lump all the bands together at this point, since the journalists had already done it anyway. They were going to try to use it as a favorable thing as opposed to a disfavorable one. And they aren't going to be promoting us that way anymore. Not because we don't like punks or anything, because it's quite untrue. You know, the Ramones are, our favorite American band that's new. And there's lots of things that we share in common. Like, we think it's very important to communicate to an audience in a sincere manner, and those kinds of things we share. We don't like the idea of huge stadiums and that kind of thing. But I think, as soon as people listen to what we sound like, they can tell the difference. And people who come to see our live show, they can tell the difference. And it doesn't really matter because, punk rockers come, regular people come. It really does, people basically come to have a good time and to hear music.
Right, which is important.
And maybe we do something, maybe we have something to offer that's different. We like to think of ourselves really, aside from new wave and punk, all that, we just like to think of ourselves very new. Just the newest thing.
Would you call it rock, or would you not even consider it that? Just
maybe it's that. We don't know. We'll leave that up to the radio programmers to decide. But we think, that it's certainly accessible, and it has a rock or pop structure to the songs. Some of them are rockers.
Thank you very much. A hit single, from what I've read, is a quite important thing to have.
We'll just keep making records we like, and if the programmers decide that one of them could be a hit, that's up to them whether they play it. We won't discourage them.
Right. How did you get the name Talking Heads? How did you come up with that?
A friend of ours who lives in Chicago now picked it out of TV Guide.
What are you planning for the future in the way of another album, and when?
We'll be playing in the U.S. until about Christmas, and then we'll go to Europe for the end of January, February, and then it's sort of open what we do when we get back. We may start work on another album, and we may postpone that and we go tour somewhere else. After then, we don't know. We could do either one.
What did you listen to when you were younger, or what do you listen to today? Who do you like?
When I was younger, I didn't really have a record collection when I was real young. I just listened to whatever was being played on the radio in the car and stuff like that. And my parents didn't listen to rock and roll, but they would let me listen to those stations because it kept me quiet when I was in the car with them, you know. So I heard stuff like, you know, I think the songs that were big hits when I first started to catch on was like Flying Purple People Eater and Big Bad John and of course Elvis songs and Duke of Earl and things like that. And then like it was all sort of just things like that until the Beatles came out. Yeah, Trailer for Sale. What's that? King of the Road. Yeah, Hit the Road Jack was enough. Anyway, there was all those songs. Blue Velvet by Bobby Vinton was a huge hit, you know, very popular. But then the Beatles came out, and I started to think it would be fun to be in a rock and roll band.
Right, like everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. But of course, at that time, it was impossible to be in a real rock and roll band. But now it is.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.